Welcome to the third episode of The Extra Sheet. And today we're going to answer a question. We're going to try is where is the fuel subsidy money? I know this question still confuses many people, especially question even does fuel subsidy even exist, in the first place. But let's break it down. Under the old subsidy regime, the federal government allocated 445,000 barrels of crude oil per day from its share of production to NNPC. In theory, NNPC was supposed to refine this crude, sell the petroleum product domestically, and remit the proceeds in naira to the government. But this is where the story gets a kid leg. Often, NNPC did not receive the full crude allocation, and the local refining capacity was absent. So instead, NNPC entered a crude for product swap arrangement. Means I will give you crude, you give me fuel, with international refineries. But there was a fundamental problem. The crude was not free, which means NNPC has to pay for that crude. Now, NNPC was supposed to pay for the crude in naira, but in most cases it did not, because NNPC argues that if I'm going to pay for this crude in full price, Nigerians will also have to pay the full market price for fuel. So the government said, wait, sell the crude fuel cheaply to the citizens. We will pay the difference as subsidy. And then NNPC, sometimes they will deduct the subsidy from the crude value. Sometimes they don't even remit anything at all. In fact, this opaque system created massive loopholes. Volumes were inflated. In fact, our subsidized fuel traveled far to Togo and Cameroon. Subsidy was paid for what was never consumed. Multiple institutions like the Ministry of Finance, CBN, Customs, Navy, SUN, even private doctors like Deloitte reviewed the process at different times, yet it remained deeply corruption prone. The bigger question was always production. Now, when Nigeria's production started declining, there was no longer free crude that we could give away, because every crude that you give to an NPC, that 445,000 or less means you are foregoing a dollar revenue that the country is supposed to earn. So you are actually giving away dollars cheaply to an NNPC. And for payments that did not even NNPC never paid, or mostly were delayed or incomplete. According to NAIT, Nigeria spent of fuel subsidy in 16 years. In 2012 alone, fuel subsidy hit 2.11 trillion naira. That was around $10 billion. When we could no longer shortchange the federation account, Nigerians used 10.85 billion from excess crude account to sustain fuel subsidy between 2011 and 2015. At some point, the government took out an expensive Eurobond just to pay for subsidy in 2022. Imagine you take a foreign debt to service for consumption. You're using foreign oil receipt to service today's consumption. It was just ridiculous. It just stopped making economic sense to have fuel subsidy. So subsidy has to be removed. Maybe I don't personally agree with the process, because I feel like there was no safety net, there was no wider conversation how to make sure that the poor gets some form of support. But the question is that where's the money? Now, with this subsidy gone, NNPC is no longer entitled to that for 45,000 barrels. So all of that production money, as the crude is being lifted, means the federal government is earning the money in dollars. Let's also not forget that the naira that we receive now is much more devalued. So if we were before 400 naira to a dollar, with now 1,400, 1,500. This is why the federation account is swelling. In fact, by budget analysis, we show that every single state has seen their revenue double between 2023 and 2025. You have states like Delta, whose FAC revenue rose from 580 billion to 1.1 trillion. Like Sokoto jumped from 81 billion to 259 billion over the same period. It's not just the states. Even the federal government is seeing increased revenue. The federal government takes 52% of the federation account. Revenue grew from 12 trillion naira in 2023 to 20 trillion in 2024. In the past, such windfalls were housed into an account called P, so that they can be targeted for roads, bridges, social support. Nowadays, this all money goes into the federation account, which is the public treasury. So the money is not hidden. It's with your governor, it's with your local government chairman, it's with the president. So if you're asking where is the fuel subsidy money is, here's a simple answer. It is in the system. You have to ask those who are asking it. Are they interested in new airport? Are they spending your money for new Maybach Benz or nice houses in Abuja? You need to ask questions about the fact that everybody is getting more money now. Thank you.